Hi friends! It's been a long time since I've done a Facebook Live and I am trying it out again and seeing how it is going. I don't know, they always make me so nervous, but I wanted to come live today and share with you some 5E science stations for third grade that we've been working on. You may already know that we've done a lot of science stations for actually just science stations for second, third, and fourth grade, and we've completed those, and those are done. So we've been starting and working on some 5E lessons, actually unit plans. They're not science stations, they're unit plans for third grade, and we have completed, I think, 5 of them now. But I released 2 of them this week. One was about life cycles, and then there's animal groups, which I put up today. And so I wanted to share with you some of the components in it. I have a blog post written on it that is actually about the force and motion one that I can show you and give you some more information about. But I wanted to show you some of it in sort of a live format and show you what the components are. And if you're not familiar with the 5 E's, there are 5 parts to it. And there is engage, where you want to engage the students and get them interested in the topic that they are learning about and sort of just get their minds peaked about it. There is explore, where they are digging a little bit deeper and exploring the topic and finding out what they know and don't know about it. There is explain, and this is where most of us kind of start sometimes with that direct teaching part, but that explain area is where you finally get into the facts and the details and you explain what the topic is about. There is also extend. So after you explain it and they've done a lot of the work with it, you extend the topic and they go even further and do some of their own exploration and projects with it. And then there's finally the evaluate section. And for the evaluate section, we've done a lot of rubric-based evaluations and self-based evaluations and how to go just one step further with the content. What I want to do today is show you some of the components of the animal groups one, which I just put up this morning on Teachers Pay Teachers. Each of the stations have the same basic components, the 5 E's, of course, and then we've also included vocabulary cards, exit tickets, and big idea posters. And so here are some of these aren't to the same animal. Let's see, can you see them? But there's for the what is this one? Animal groups one of the words is predator. So here's predator. This is not the card for it. This isn't for chamber, or burrow would be one of the cards. And there's also chamber. But these are all different vocabulary cards. I know they're kind of hard to see. Here's prey and predator we have as some of them. We also have migrate. And so students can match the word with the picture with the definition. I've already have them all cut out, so it's kind of hard to grab and see them all. There's also communicate. Those are some of the words that we're going over. And so you can see that they can match, and this can be one of the stations that you set up with them, but they match the different cards and what the word and the definition and the picture that go with it. Along with the vocabulary cards, we have big idea posters that are in each of the packets. And so these I like to just display in the room and show you what can be displayed. You can go over them at the beginning of each lesson. You can take a look at I don't know, different ways that students can read them or repeat them or share with a partner. And so these are the ones for the animal one. I've actually printed these a little bit at a reduced size so that I can hold them up here and not have them too large. But they are the ones that go with that topic. So those are the big idea posters and vocabulary cards. And then there are also exit tickets. We have about 8 to 10 exit tickets per 5E unit. And they come in 3 formats. There's just a question on it where students answer a question. And so this is an easy one. Why do animals live in groups? We have also included fill in the blank version so that students can have some vocabulary in it, or if you need a little bit more support, students who need a little bit more support. And then there's a multiple choice one, which is very easy for you to actually like grade and see which one, just sort of sort. These are great. I love the exit tickets because I can quickly gather them with my class and then be able to sort them into different groups and say, okay, these students have it, these students don't. Here are the misconceptions that some students have. And so we've included a page in each of the units that's a list of 2 to 5, sometimes a little bit more, misconceptions that students have about the science topic. And so we take a look at, you can take a look at these exit tickets and easily be able to see which students get it, which students don't, which students are almost there but just need a little bit of help. And so definitely a great resource. So as I mentioned earlier, the 5E sections. The first one is engage, and I have all of my papers here and they're all out of order. But the engage section is a way to get students obviously engaged with the topic. And there's a couple different ways to do that. We do that a lot through videos. We do it a lot through just classroom discussions or having question prompts and responses that students do. And there's generally always a worksheet in a way. This one is a matching where students would watch some of the videos and then be able to match between different animal groups, since this is animal groups, and the names of different animal groups. So on here, there's a bunch of different pictures. Let's see, let me hold it back. Is that better? A bunch of different pictures of various animal groups and their names. And so this one is just a simple matching one, but there's different ways to engage students in the activities that you're doing. After engage, we have explore. And it's easy to show you the worksheet, and I'll show you the what it looks like in the PDF that you would download. But here's the explore one, and this is, let's see, so we go like that for you guys, a reading passage about, and this one has to do with geese and how they travel and how they work in groups and how they, let's see, mate with each other, so that is in there, and how they stay together for life. And so this particular version has the reading passage, and then it has questions on the side for them to answer while they're reading. We've also included a blank version where students can just take notes. You can also have students highlight it, but this is one of the activities in the explore section. So you'll see up here, this is part 2. Each of the 5E stations that we have 3 parts each. So there's part 1, part 2, part 3, and it's basically 3 different activities that you can do with students. They range in time from about 15 minutes to 30 minutes. So you can do multiple activities a day if you have the time, or you can put them in on different days. We've included actually 4 different schedules and timelines that you can use. One is just doing one section each day, which generally takes about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, depending on your class and other time constraints. There's also one timeline that extends it into about 9 or 10 days, depending on the unit, and it just is shorter blocks of time for a longer period of days. We have also, as I said, there's 3 parts to each section. We've also indicated a timeline for, if you don't have much time for science, these are the essential pieces that you have to do. And that's 1 or 2 of the parts from each of the sections. And it'll give you this is what you need to do to get the content across to the students. And then the other timeline that we have is that 4th option. It extends it over 10 days, but it also weaves in some of the science stations. So if you already have the science stations, you can take a look at which of those stations you can use as whole class extensions in a way for some of the content that's in here. Or if you want to engage students in a different way, you can extend it with that. So this is the explore. The explain section, I'm going to show you the text that students have or for this section. Let me grab it out. It's actually multiple pages. We have, actually I've got 2 parts here for it. So the text for the explain section, we've created 4 different versions of the text. One of the versions is just the plain text, and it just has only the text and the pictures on it, and that's it. Another version is very similar to the explore that you saw here, where it's 2 columns and there are questions that can be answered on the side. There's another version that has just blank spaces instead of questions. And then this is the fourth version where we've taken it a little step further and provided you with a copy with blank spaces. So you as a teacher can read aloud the text to them, or another student can read aloud, and then students would fill in the blanks with the missing words. And so this, the explain section text is always longer than the explore section text. It's quite a tongue twister there. This one happens to be 4 pages of text, and this is the animal groups, but it has an introduction. It's about sharing the work within groups and how animals share work, staying warm and how animals, that's actually page 4, how animals stay warm, how they find food, and the last one is how they stay safe. Those were out of order, but each of the sections has details about how animals do that within animal groups. And so the reasons why animals group together to stay warm, to stay safe, to find food, and to, what was the other one? Stay safe, find food, and to stay warm. That was the last one. And so all of those are explained within the explain section. During the explain section, that was part 2. This is another one, which is part 3 of the explain section. And this is a really cool activity where you actually set up a predator-prey area in your room. And there's a whole set of teacher directions with it, but this is the student response form. And basically, some students are prey, some students are predators, and they take a look at the grouping of them and which one has more. And generally, there are more prey than predators. Get that right. They're generally more prey than predators. And then they take a look at the photo here and do some analysis about why that occurs. And so that's within the explain section. The extend section, which is a way for students to just take their learning one step further and apply it in different ways. We have a couple different ways to do this in this section. One of them is a sort, and so I've got a bunch of cards here. But what they are sorting is learned behavior and natural behavior. So there's on the direction sheet is some definitions of what those are, and then each student has cards that they cut out. So here's one. I know it's hard to see the text, about sea otters and how they are born with certain behaviors and then they have to learn certain behaviors from their mother, including eating and cracking open the shellfish that they eat. We've got chimpanzees, we have mammals and how they feed, and how some of it's just natural behavior that they are born with and some of it is learned behavior. And so that is the extend section. I may not have an evaluate section here, but I'll show it to you in the packet. So let me see. I've got to figure out how to use the program. Actually, did it work? No. Here, I'm going to go to photos actually and give you some more information about what that looks like. And here's the photos that I took this morning. And you'll see these in some of the previews, but here's again the big idea posters from it. This is the engage section, which you saw the worksheet with it. I don't know if it's a little bit easier or better to show you the photo of it, but that's what it looks like. This is the explore section in the article. And this is the extend section. I think that's as far as I went. Oh, this was the evaluate section, except that's the wrong photo. Let's see. That one got cut off. So let's see if I can grab it. There we go. We'll use this one. This was the evaluate section. And it was off to my other side and I didn't find it. But this is another sort that students would do, and it's sorting the animals into categories about why they are grouped together the way that they are grouped. So for instance, gazelles are grouped because they want to stay safe, and being together is a safety measure. You have ants here and you see 2 of them. Well, they're grouped together for 2 different reasons. They're grouped together to share the work, and they're also grouped together to help each other find food. So if it's duplicated, that's for 2 different reasons, and that's explained in the directions that are there. The actual, let's see if I can do this. Will it work? Alrighty, so here is the lesson plan itself, or the unit itself, and it is filled with 200 and something pages of great resources. So let's see, zoom it out a little bit. I don't know how much you guys can really see doing it this way, but there's a table of contents. You'll see it's actually 182 pages, including the evaluate section. I mentioned at the very beginning, there's some teacher notes. There's notes about the standards that it covers. Here are the options for teaching. There's a 5-day written plan. There's a 9-day written plan here. There's an abbreviated version. If you only have 15 to 20 minutes a day, it's like, do this piece. You know, it'll probably end up taking like 30 minutes just for some of them, but it'll give you an idea of how to abbreviate it. And then here's how to integrate it with the science stations that we have, as well as links to individual stations if you wanted to look at some of those individually. There's a materials checklist. And then we have a page of misconceptions included with every science station. And these are kind of things that students or kids tend to think about, you know, sciencey topics and what is there. So here's the vocabulary. They come looking like this, and then you print them out and cut them apart, or you can keep them together as well. And they come in 2 different formats for just like a word wall format if you wanted to look at it that way. So let me show you what some of, actually I've already showed you quite a bit of it, but each section, this is the Explore section. Each section will have some teacher background information in it, which will just sort of explain what students are supposed to do at that level or that stage of it. You'll notice that we starred one part down here. That's kind of the, if you can't get to everything, this is the part you want to get to. Each section will also have objectives, duration for each of the parts, and a materials list, as well as directions. This one for the Explore station, they're watching a YouTube video and then having an activity sheet to respond to it. They are doing a You Try It activity. And this one has to do with a jar, and I'll show you what it looks like. And there's a continuation of that as well. There's also a place for reflection where you can make some notes about what you might want to do the next day. So this part goes with the video that they would look at. So you would look at this picture and have them respond to it. They can look at the video beforehand. Here's the reading part that I showed you. And then the experiment that they do with it is actually taking a look at why fish group together. And so they're looking at a jar of water and how one piece is a little bit different, and adding more and more fish means you can't see it as well. And there's a response sheet with it as well. The other part that is kind of cool that I want to show you is that we have, and there's Facebook Live, we have included what are these called? Teacher resources, teacher notes, like a presentation for teachers. So we have included pieces in here, and some of them are movable and some of them are background images, but you can project this, and all of the reading passages are in here. So here's one of the experiments that students do at the Engage stage. And this one's kind of cool because there's some water balloons here with cold water in it, and then you heat them up and cool them down and take a look at how animals stay together for warmth. But they have the reading passages in here, so you can read along with students, or even project this up and have students fill out the fill in the blank version of it. So there are teacher notes and directions for you here. And then I've also included student sheets here as well. So this is the student sheets, and you're looking at the exit tickets, but you could assign these if you have Google Classroom so that students can select and fill in whatever one that they're responding to. So all of the exit tickets are in here, as well as the relevant student sheets for the sections. So if they're taking a look at this worksheet, they might go like this and extend it. So it does take some knowledge of Google Classroom in order to use some of it, but the part that makes this really cool is that there are color photos in it. So especially when you're reading the passages, the color photos just make it come to life a little bit more than the black and white versions do. And so you can see that there are color photos in the student sheets as well as the teacher sheets. And the other pieces where there are like drag and drop pieces, they can drag these into the areas that they need to. And so you would make a copy of this and use it with your Google Classroom application with it. So let's see. Now, how do I get back to, oh, there it is. New software, new things, trying to figure it all out. So I will drop links in the Facebook Live for you to take a look at, and you can explore a little bit. I'll drop some links for just a general what the 5E lessons are and they look like, as well as the one for animal groups, since that's the one I highlighted here. And you can take a look at the pieces of them. We are, oh, that's what I wanted to show you. Let's see. Do I still have it up here? I do. Okay, so let me go back to here. Will this work? Oh, that works. Okay, so here's the lesson for animal groups. It's on Teachers Pay Teachers, and this is what it looks like. And so you can see some of the photos I showed you today. And the description goes through and explains all of the objectives and time and parts and duration and all that stuff. Also available, so this is just one lesson. You can also, this is the whole year of them for third grade. So by the time they are done, we've completed, let's see, 2, 4, 5, 6 of them, and we have another 9 to go, and they will be all completed. So you can see them listed up here, but they're going to be completed by June 2018. So these are the ones that we have left to complete, but they're almost, they're done. We completed about 2 to a month. About 2 a month is what we're averaging right now. And then if you don't have the science stations, or if you do, you can always upgrade to this one. But this one is a mega bundle of all of the 5E lessons and all of the science stations. So they're available individually as a unit. We're not going to break these apart into, the 5 different E's. They need to be grouped together. So these are going to stay grouped together like that, but you can purchase them as the unit plans. You can purchase them as a unit plan bundle, and you can also purchase them as a mega bundle here. So that's kind of how they are grouped out and put together. Let's see, I don't think there was any questions. I know I went through all of that really fast, so you'll have to let me know if you have any questions in the notes, and I will try and do more Facebook Lives, and I know that we've had some requests for some of the math things, so I will get on that as well. And thank you for being here with me and listening and commenting, and we will talk to you later. Bye.